Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laurence and I post art videos once a week. Today is kind of a continuation of last week's video in which I showed you some art supplies that I wanted to reconnect with. So all these art supplies that I showed you last week and that I swatched for you are right here on my table. They are in my face and they're screaming, use me, use me, use me. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're going to try to use as many as we can to create another painting in my sketchbook. So I have selected a picture already. I'm going to put it here. Here we go. So this is a landscape that is nothing special, to be honest. It's not even that pretty, but we're going to make it pretty. Here I have this little piece of coral that I absolutely did not take while on vacation in another country. I'm going to put it right here so it keeps us company. All right, what I would like to do is try to keep things pretty abstract. So we're going to see what we can achieve. I would love to use my parchment, so I think I'm going to start with that. Try to paint some areas using parchment, and then we will see. I'll just experiment and go with the flow, I guess. So what I would like to do, I liked when I mixed some parchment in last week's video. I mixed some parchment with some other colors, so I think I'm gonna do that. I'm going to try to paint the path first. And I don't want to put too much because this is acrylic and I'm going to use a lot of other mediums as well. So I don't know how the other mediums are going to react on top of this acrylic. So I'm just painting with the acrylics and I'm adding some hydrogen blue and my acrylic paint, which is, I think it's something I've never done before, adding watercolors to acrylic. I tried it last week when I swatched my paints, but other than that, I had never done it before. So it's quite nice. What if I do some lines like this and then I try to put more paint on top later when it's dry? We'll see what happens. I wonder, let's say I put watercolors on top of this dried acrylic. Will the acrylic show through? Will the watercolor cover everything? I don't know. Mysterious. You can see I'm very excited today. I have a lot of energy and I don't know why, because I only slept 4 hours and the day before was the same, only 4 hours too. So maybe that's why. Maybe I'm a bit crazy because of the lack of sleep. That would be possible. What I want to do is play with textures. So we use parchment and one watercolor that I hadn't used in a long time, which was hydrogen blue. This is a watercolor that I've loved. It's just I forgot about it. So I still have a little bit of hydrogen blue mixed with my acrylic in my palette. So I'm going to try to use it in some darker areas maybe. Because once it dries, it's not gonna reactivate. So I want to use it up as much as I can. Now, I would like to cover some areas. I'm thinking that I could use some acrylic inks, or maybe I should use some watercolor first. Yes, let's try to use some watercolors. And here I have some colors that I had swatched in my latest video. This is the swatch where I mixed the acrylic just now. So I won't be able to use it up because it's gonna dry. But these are watercolors, so I can use them. And these are watercolors too, but it's from another video. But I guess I could use them if I feel like I need those colors. Oh, I could use my dusk yellow from Van Gogh, which is a color that I used to use a lot. I loved it so much and I kind of forgot about it. That's what happened. But if you want to know more about my journey with this color, you should really watch last week's video because I explained everything. So see, I'm adding watercolors on top of this acrylic and so far so good. It's nice to reconnect with some old paints. It makes me think about everything that I created. Some artworks that I've had fun creating using this. I remember one especially. It was a fish and a ramen bowl. And for the nori sheets, I had used this color because it was the perfect thing. Now I'm kind of painting a tree. I'm focusing on all the areas that are supposed to be the darkest right now. Usually with watercolors, I would do the opposite, so starting with the lightest first, but since we're doing mixed media, I feel like the normal rules don't apply in this instance. Maybe I'm wrong, but I guess we're gonna find out later. So now I'm just making sure that I apply this color in multiple areas so it makes sense overall. I don't know how abstract this is gonna be. I'm not sure. Now I feel like painting some sky. Maybe I could use that parchment again, but with more blue. I decided that I would use some tundra blue. I have some tundra blue on my palette. I'm just gonna use it. And I want it to be quite diluted, just so, yeah, I have something that I can call a sky. All right, now we have a sky. Now I would like to add maybe some brighter colors. So we could use this pale blue to create some areas. Like that could be rocks. Okay, so these are acrylic paint pens, which I think I had used only once. I used them for a video and I created a fun drawing that I quite liked. I think that now I don't think that this drawing would be my style. It was of a botanical garden. I can link the video so you can watch it if you want, but since then I did not use them and I thought that sucked a little bit because I felt like these could be good for sketchbook work and to create marks, just like what I'm doing right now. Okay, I want to come back to this. I'd like to use maybe a pan pastel to cover a big area. So let me use this pan pastel. So what I like to do is take a wet sponge and then, you dab on some areas. So that's a nice way to cover a larger area quite quickly. Okay, what I like to do now is maybe get, this Naples yellow could be very nice. I remember it being a color that I really liked. I should use it more. So now I'm just adding some layers here and there, trying to keep everything loose. Okay, now I want to create a mix to do the trees and the darker shades of trees that we can find everywhere. I'm gonna use this old yellow that I have here. And it's a pretty color though. Now I'm trying to create some mixes using Van Gogh Naples Yellow, and I decided to see what would happen if I mix it with my Identium Blue. I'm creating kind of a grayish blue. Now I'd like to use my green. I think I want a bright green. I have some here that I'm gonna use because I don't want to waste anything, and it's here, and that's what I feel like this piece needs. A bit of more of a brighter touch in some places. I'm kind of mixing stuff directly on the page too. So sometimes I'm gonna add a brighter green to an area where there's blue, and it's gonna create something like this where the colors mix together. One of my favorite parts is this little section here, so I think I want to recreate this somewhere else. So I want to put more blue lines, create some texture too. Now I think it could be nice to put a little bit of charcoal pencil, which is something that I wanted to add in my drawings a bit more. I feel like they're a great tool to create some additional lines and textures. Maybe if we add some Naples yellow to some of these areas, let's say here. Okay, now I think I want to add finally some acrylic inks. So yeah, I'm just trying to do some mark making and try to create some organic shapes. Now I'd like to add maybe some red oxide because I thought it was such a beautiful color. So let's see where we can add it. I like this dry brushing. It's very nice. Love the movement in this one so far. So I just want to use my acrylic paint pens to add even more layers in some areas. Like here, there's like this tree that I wasn't able to represent because the background was too dark, and even if I put more paint on top, I always saw the background. So I'm feeling that maybe with these paint pens, I'm gonna be able to cover the areas I want to cover and have a little tree shine through. Okay, I think I'm done. So let's remove the tape and see what it looks like. I'm pretty satisfied with this result. I feel like I was able to use a lot of the supplies that I wanted to use, and it really made me discover new ways of using my supplies also. Like these little acrylic paint pens, they're great to add details. So I think I'm gonna use them more. I'm also happy about the style. I feel like I was able to keep it loose, which is something that I'm striving for. It's one of my goals, so I think I did good. Super happy about this. Wow. So I think that's what concludes this video. I hope that it inspired you to go through your art materials and see what you haven't used in a long time, and maybe force yourself to use them again in a painting and try to maybe use as many as you can, just like I did, just to reconnect with them, fall back in love with them. Or maybe you're just gonna decide that these mediums are not the right type for you, and you're gonna be confident, you're gonna be able to let them go and focus on something that is a better fit for you. And I'm also happy about the fact that I was able to turn a pretty boring picture into something that is interesting. At least for me, I find this very interesting. So I'm looking forward to experiment more in that way. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't hesitate to leave me any comments, suggestions, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.